Welcome back to Medieval Total War and our French campaign on Glorious Achievements mode, Expert difficulty. Things are going pretty well in that regard. We've actually just taken the lead, probably as a result of capturing Palestine with our recent crusade. And we are well on our way to the Krak to Chevaliers for another 8 points. That is about 8 turns away. So 8 more years and the Citadel will be complete if we are left alone for the rest of that time. Now, over here, things are looking pretty good as well. The Turks have really taken a beating. I don't think they're just fighting us. I think they are also fighting the Byzantines currently. So I think we don't have to fear from them for a little while. I'm going to hold off on peace with them, though, because I would like to capture Edessa at some point to a crusade. That is going to require us to build the keep and build a chapter house here. And then I'm thinking our crusade would go from Palestine to Syria and then to Edessa. So that's something that we could relatively easily support with troops from Tripoli, now that Tripoli is pretty much insulated from any other neighbors. I would like to keep trying for peace with the Egyptians because I don't really have any desire for these provinces. I know they are very rich, or at least Egypt is, but I'd rather just sit out here and try to hew as close as possible to my glorious achievement objectives. That's part of the fun, and the challenge is kind of restraining yourself a little bit. But that said, of course, we do have quite a few unfinished. We do have some homelands that we don't have under our belt, namely Aquitaine. And that is something that we just recently saw develop with the addition of a new combatant in the war for Western Europe, and that is the Germans of the Holy Roman Empire. Just moved a couple of stacks at least into Anjou from Burgundy, and the fact that this is becoming a war route is a little disconcerting. The Germans, I think, are doing okay. They're holding on fairly well, but I do want to get some agents around here to see how deep their kingdom actually goes, because I know that last we were aware, the Italians were up into Franconia. The Hungarians owned Bavaria, if I remember correctly. So there could be a lot of thinness, I guess, to the empire, and that would be a good thing for us potentially. But on the other hand, we are of course a much more easy target for them than the English are, because our troops are so relatively weak. Now, one final thing that I want to consider today is the age of our current king, Jean II, 53 years old, who's been just a fine king, just basically sitting in Ile-de-France all his life, very skilled in terms of acumen. And his son, our heir, Prince Louis, is, I believe, going to be the heir, unless one of these other sons is actually the son of King Jean, right? Like, Prince Louis could theoretically be the son of some prior king. Regardless, we do need a marriage here. It's occurring to me. He's 26, and if he is indeed the heir apparent, then King Jean could die as soon as, a couple of years from now. And that would put him in the position of being the king, or alternatively, which could be worse, King Jean II lives for another decade, and Louis takes the throne at the age of 36, which is barely enough time to get married and start having children who can mature in time to, take the throne and pass the torch to. So we do need to arrange a marriage, but we don't have any emissaries currently. Ours have been assassinated, so we need to get some more out there. Let's train up a couple and go after some of the old standbys. We might try this German princess here. She might be willing, because the Germans, unfortunately, are no longer allied with us. They attacked or were attacked by the English, and we sided with the English to, to try to preserve this part of the map, I guess. The English seemed like the ones who would be the biggest threat. At least they have the most incentive to attack Flanders right now in terms of linking up their provinces. I'm not sure if the AI thinks that way, but I've got to imagine Flanders is pretty tempting for the English, who can hit it from, 2 provinces here. Whereas the Germans, it feels like they're just trying to hold on for dear life. So we're going to get some emissaries. We're going to get them out into the world. We're also going to move our princesses around so I can see how deep Germany goes. And here we're just going to hold on in the Middle East see what the Turks do, see what the Egyptians do, see if the Byzantines start expanding, and hope that we can get the Krak de Chevaliers finished so we can get that citadel and get all those glorious achievement points. Once that's done, I want to devote some time to economy, but we'll see if we really have the time and the peace for that. We're seeing these wars develop here. So the Germans, let's see how they do in Anjou, but okay, so it's the Byzantines in Edessa. Well, I guess that simplifies things. The Byzantines are going to keep Edessa. All right, no ceasefire with the Egyptians. Then I don't think we'll be doing a crusade there. Well, that's fine. Edessa is only a single point in terms of glorious achievements. It's not the worst thing in the world. I did want to get it because it does have quite a few nice trade goods. This can be a pretty wealthy province, even though it's landlocked. And it would be nice to have sort of a salient, I guess, just to have a way to protect, like, Antioch. And this is sort of the historical Crusader states, right? So it would be nice to have Edessa for bragging rights, and maybe we'll get the opportunity, but I don't want to start a war with the Byzantines for that, because it's not a war that we're likely to win. Or let me put it this way, we could very well win it, but it's not a war that we are likely to end quickly. And I would rather keep the Byzantines as a trading partner as long as I can. Okay, but we've got the fort underway in Antioch. We've got the keep underway here. We're just going to keep a holding pattern there. And let's see, the Germans once again were unable or unwilling to take Anjou. It looks like we didn't get a retreat message there. So this was an actual battle, and the Germans lost. Very interesting. Okay, a princess in Cordoba reports that the Spanish are still in possession. So let's move her back up to Genoa, and we'll just kind of do a meander northward. Now, where's she going? I don't know, but wherever she's going, let's just move her down here to see what sort of central Germany looks like. Yes, in Saxony. So this is very interesting. The English had apparently taken Saxony, held it, and then are now besieged. Only 12 archers worth. Ralph Maitland, weak last stand inside the keep by the Germans. All right, well, we've got an emissary, and we also have another princess, so let's put her right into Swabia immediately. And let's see, yes, go for this princess. What's her name? Clementine. She's 22. See if we can get her. And if not, we can try for an English. We've got another emissary coming anyway. So we'll try with that. We are making a little bit of money now. So I think I want to devote some time to the homeland. Toulouse we've built up a tiny bit. But I think we also want it to be fairly self-sufficient. So with that, I think we'll just go with archers. That's an easy build. That's just a couple hundred. Here, though, I want to go for the Spearmaker because it's kind of shocking we haven't gotten that yet in Ile-de-France. This will be sort of a centralized troop training province / crusades / this is where our cathedral is going to be. The advantage of having some troop capability here, even though they don't benefit from the Valor bonus, sadly, because you can't train chivalric foot knights, is that with all the church buildings, the morale of all the troops here will be fairly high. We won't have, there's no iron here that makes it a fantastic troop province, but it's the place where I have the capability. So let's keep investing in that. For Brittany, let's put a little money into a port because we may as well. I know that's going to put us into not debt, but we're eating into our profits. This does have linen, which is a somewhat rare trade good. And it's not going to make us a lot of money, but if we get a port, we can start exporting it, like to the coast of northern Spain. That would just require 2 ships, right? One of which is going to be in the Bay of Biscay. That's where the port opens onto. So that ship is not going to have any super high upkeep. And then just one region away, Costa Verde, we're going to have a couple of provinces to trade with, and that'll also link us with Flanders in the north. So that seems like a good option. Okay, I'm glad to see the Turks going back against the Byzantines, actually. Oh wow, Almohads are eliminated. Alright, and we don't unfortunately know where that occurred, but I'm guessing it's somewhere in North Africa. So given that the Spanish owned Cordoba, they could easily own Morocco and, you know, a few others. Constitutions of Clarendon. The King of England has issued 16 articles defining all the legal dealings between the Church and his servants. These articles limit the powers and rights of the clergy and the Pope when dealing with English matters. The English king gains +1 influence and -1 piety as a result. So interesting. So you increase the powers of the king, decrease the powers of the church, therefore the piety of that king is decreased. That's nice. We're seeing some monster English generals, though. These must be heroic, famous generals coming out of Mercia and in Wessex. Well, I am glad to be allied with him. Alright, but the English were unable to take Aquitaine. Ooh, and that looks like they are in a bit of trouble. Anjou was their strongest node, I guess. So here's what I'm thinking. Like, we let any other faction take this. The Aragonese or the Germans. Then we can take it back while preserving our alliance with the English. And then from there we can take Aquitaine. But Anjou by itself links up, you know, Brittany, Toulouse, Ile-de-France. So that is the cornerstone. So that's how I think I want to play that. We'll see. We'll let these other factions, you know, fight the English, fight each other, and then we kind of swoop in and take it. It's technically not on our homelands list, so part of me wants to wait until it is. But we'll see. I'm not going to be super rigid about that. Okay, one more turn. He'll be. Oh wow, we've got Chrétien de Troyes, and I'm sure I butchered that. I want to say Troyes, but and I'm sure I'll fall back to that. But Chrétien, he is the. Well, there was a historical event about him. I think he's about 50 years too late because, you know, he's, I think he was like around 1100 or so. He's a pretty early historical event. But this is the guy who wrote, you know, several stories of, you know, the Holy Grail, King Arthur, Percival, Lancelot, that kind of thing. So that's cool. We got a 3 Valor Emissary. Wow, that's so good because we know assassins exist. So we'll just keep this guy here. And at some point we are going to want to work on our own agents, but like you know, spies and assassins. Let's train up a few bishops though, because I'd like to have guys moving in just for visibility. Yeah, the Aragonese go for it. Okay. But they fail to take Anjou, or they back off. Egyptian Sultan is dead, so maybe now's another opportunity to try for peace with the new Sultan. Okay. Yeah, I think we do this. The Turks no longer have Edessa, right? That's the only other province that I really feel like I want to go after immediately. At least in this region. So they don't have Edessa, so I'll take peace with them. They're also allied with the Egyptians. That would allow me to make peace with the Egyptians. So let's go with that. And we've got a wife. Beautiful. Chrétien de Troyes. He did the sweet talking for us, and now we've got a wife for Prince Louis. So we'll see if he is the actual prince. We're going to have another son come of age. Let's see, next year, Prince Philippe, and then a couple more princes. Prince John and another Prince Louis. Okay, bishop to Bavaria. Wow, the English own Swabia? Things are much worse than I imagined for the Germans, or at least more interesting. Okay, so they've got a pretty strong presence here, or at least a couple stacks. Alright, did I already... Yeah, let's send you to Switzerland, actually. Keep you right here. Okay, we've got a 3-star emissary. We can send him pretty much anywhere. You know, we don't have any super safe places in our homeland, so we may as well send him out east. Let's go to Venice. Okay, everything is still being built in the Holy Land, and I'm really not worried about this at all. We could take Syria with a casual swipe at this point. But let's find the Egyptian Sultan. He's probably in Egypt. And then we've got Prince Adelaide down here. Was I going to marry her to somebody? I may have intended that. Yeah, Jeancourt. Although he is a drinker, so... You know what? Let's do it anyway. He's going to keep losing commands. This feels like a bit of a waste, but we're going to lose her in a couple of turns regardless. So may as well put her to use, improving the loyalty of that guy. Okay. A port is going to be completed in a couple of turns, so it's a reasonable time now to start building another bark. Just get ready to shuffle troops, ships that way. We've got 600 to spend, so let's go for the Spearmaker's Workshop here. This is the one I was really looking more towards. This one gets us Feudal Sergeants, which is a great unit. I should have been building towards them long before this point. But money just felt too tight, and I never felt like I had the luxury of looking around and choosing things to invest in. But we could also, you know, at the same time, think about opening up Toulouse to trade, because we've got a nice little trifecta here of ports right next door. Provence does not produce silk. I think Genoa does, but Corsica, I'm quite sure, does not. So that would be a relatively easy way for us to get a couple of provinces. Let's wait next turn and we'll build that. We're already going a little bit into our funds by building that ship. Yeah, okay, there's an English crusade going down to, like, Genoa, and the English are counterattacking in Saxony, which is where their king is. They have established a little enclave somewhere down here. My gosh, okay. King of Aragon has died from an illness. Alright, Prince Philippe comes of age, and the court poet. So this is Theodore Prodromus. Also composes romantic verse novels, and even, so it is rumored, satirical ditties in Greek for everyone to enjoy. That such a talented man is in the imperial court, adds luster to the throne, and grants +1 influence and -10% zeal, as if they need the influence. And -10% zeal is nothing but a good thing for the Byzantines, really, because I think that simply dampens down the number of troops that would join a crusade or a jihad while passing through their territory. So, oh, huh, Prince Charles. So he's like a secondary guy. You know, I could go with it. Charles is not the guy who just came of age, I don't think. And they're not allied with anyone we're at war with. Sure. Having a little security in the Holy Land. I mean, it sort of... It makes it a little harder for me to do backstabbing things without losing that influence, but we'll go with it. Okay, yes, Prince Philippe is the guy who just came of age. So pride, natural leader. Okay. Let's actually check that. It looks fantastic. Even with the pride, which is -2 acumen, he's got like 9 acumen. I guess that's 8, but still. His acumen would be 10 if he was not so proud. Usually, any penalty to acumen is very visible, but our kids have been just fantastic in this regard. So, Prince Philippe, 16. So, Prince Charles... Right. Okay. And he's the one who's married to the Byzantine princess. Alright. Fair enough. We'll just obviously keep that around. We'll keep these guys here. Okay, I think all that is good. We're down under 2,000 though, so it's a little concerning. We've got Turks back in Syria, Sultan Selim II. I think this is the guy that we fought last time. Doubtful courage, weak attacker. Yeah, that all looks familiar. Let's go check out Rum. And here, sure enough, is the new Sultan, Al-Mustali III, 28 years old. Killer instinct, strange. Very good. So we'll try a ceasefire with him. We're not at war with any of your friends now. Maybe you'll let us be. We could build something in Antioch. Let's see. This is where we can make Turcopoles, which is, yes, that's the unit we can train. So we may as well go for the Town Watch, which is going to get us all that stuff. Let's first do the Watchtowers, then the Town Watch. And I think we'll hold there. So yeah, the English are in Tyrolia being besieged. We'll see if they own Switzerland too. This is absolutely nuts. I don't even know how they ended up with this. I don't remember seeing an invasion, but they could easily have conducted one. So maybe we chose poorly. Maybe we want to switch back to allying with the Germans, who may in fact be confined to this narrow strip here. Although they are, they are counterattacking. I thought the English were really just here, but I should have known when I couldn't see the English king anymore after a little while. Oh, it's going on. Okay. Oh my gosh, the Byzantines own Venice. Oh, this is a big problem now. Okay. Oh, the Aragonese are kicked out of Aragon by the Spanish. All right, this is all right. Things have gotten a little out of hand. I've just been assuming that the Spanish are pretty much here, but of course the Almohads are eliminated. So of course now the Spanish are looking for something new to do. So they've chosen the Aragonese. That'll keep them busy, hopefully for a little while. But they brought, looks like a couple and a half stacks. So the Aragonese are going to be in force in Aquitaine. The English, meanwhile, are building a ring around me. So they're much stronger than they look. The Germans have a lot of troops around, although they're not doing super well. And the Byzantines are moving into Tyrolia through what I believe is Venice. So my neighbor, the Byzantines, is suddenly very strong. So I guess it's good we got that alliance. We need to position ourselves a bit better here. Okay. Holy Roman Empire wishes to ally with you. No. Sorry, we're not going to ditch all three alliances. Okay, the Italian Doge. Nope, let's leave him in the back pocket. Alright, beautiful. We've got a ceasefire now. I thought that would be a little more likely with the fact that we're now allied or peace with the Turks. Okay, we've got our marriage to Jeancourt down in Antioch. Alright, 1167. So one more turn and that ship is going to be ready, so we'll just move our fleet down here. And as soon as the next turn commences, we're going to be exporting linen from Brittany to all of these ports. It comes at a really good time, and we're going to get started on another ship. I may as well... Well, I like to wait. I like to wait because I don't want to be caught unexpectedly with a 700 florin expense when I forgot that I queued up a ship, right? Okay, let's send you to Bavaria, and then I do have another bishop. We'll go to... I guess Bohemia. Okay, so I think the Byzantines moved in... They're not allied with any of these people. So they weren't moving in on behalf of the Germans. It's very interesting. Alright, so 200 is already going out to that Town Watch. And yeah, the Spanish are our new neighbors with 2 stacks. This is much worse than the Aragonese. Although the Aragonese do have a lot of Royal Knights. It will be good to get ships here because we'll be able to see what Leon and Castile and Navarre look like. But yeah, let's maybe get a trading post in Toulouse. I will go for that expense. Wow. Okay, the Turks actually kicked the Byzantines out. Good, I'm kind of rooting for the Turks now. And Jean II is dead. Alright, the Turks own rum. Good for them. We've got the keep in Palestine. And, okay, some nice traits. So, what to do now? Well, let's queue up that ship. That's going to cost us, okay, 700. So that made us a couple hundred by getting just a ship here. So that linen is going to be good. And then this next ship is going to be even better because all the stuff in Flanders is going to be tradable down here, I think. There may be some crossover. There may be some silk being produced down there. But where's our king? Where's our... Okay, good. He's in Flanders. Panic for a second because I don't want him to be crowned in the Holy Land. So we have to keep an eye on that. So Palestine has like one building in the second row. Flanders has a lot more. Good. So we just need to keep that up. All right, so 700 there. Do we want to... Let's go ahead. Yeah, keep in Curtain Wall. I just don't know if it's going to come in handy at some future point. All right, yeah, I should have... You don't celebrate too early in this game because when people retreat, there's often a big counterattack. Okay, but the Byzantine Emperor has died of an illness, so that'll shake things up a bit there. Famine at a pretty bad time. At least we have some savings. Okay, 587. That's actually not too bad. Let's check Ile-de-France. Okay, yeah, public order is just fine. And I should also check loyalties, actually, yeah. Things are a little low. Count de Cleves. Let's find a sort of aging out princess. Yes, these are perfect. So she's 31. Go right over to Champagne and marry this governor, who I'd like to keep because he's got nice acumen. Prince Henri, we don't worry about. Sir Etienne de Brienne, secret blackmailer. He's kind of annoying. He's not that good at anything, but he does have just enough command to be annoying. You're fine. You're fine. Prince Charles is fine. Okay. Great. And in the Holy Land, what do we got? Oh, yeah. Joncourt. Now, look at that. Even with the marriage, just 3. So, good thing we got him married, right? I imagine this is... The command is going to go down, which is going to make it easier to stack him with other units. But for now, I think we got to take him out. Things are not looking great in Antioch for loyalty, so maybe we swap. We are allied with the Byzantines. It's 4. I'll take 4. Our king probably also has low... No, he's got pretty high influence. All right. Well, that's a shame. Okay, every place else is pretty good. So I think we can maybe live with it for a little bit, and we'll just have to periodically keep an eye on things. We do And this guy's just okay. We do, though, we've got some princesses. We may as well use them. That's kind of what they're here for. So let's marry this guy. He's got a command star. He's not likely to lose it. And the other Princess Constance is up in Brandenburg. Arguably, we don't really need her here. I can't remember if we've got someone marrying him. Let's check. Tyrolia, where are you going? Yes, Lord de Cleves. So that would be... Okay, so we'll actually take her to him. There. That should be all cleared up. All right, so now in Ile-de-France we can train feudal sergeants. And not a lot of... we don't see a lot of those on the board currently. Wow, they've got Saxon Huscarls. I mean, not many, but very interesting. They've got their own Templars, Teutonic Sergeants. So this is, you know, remnants from a crusade. And yeah, we got to imagine the Aragonese are going to get wiped out pretty soon, either by the English or the Spanish. When they go away, what's going to happen? Possibly... the English may be distracted by the Germans, right? They may not want to open up another enemy. So that might not be a problem for them. But the Spanish might have nothing else to do but attack me, right? Here and here if they take Aquitaine. Because I certainly look more inviting than the English do. That's why it is good to have fleets, although we do see the Spanish have a ship here. If we were going to war with the Spanish, we would not be able to... As you can see, theoretically, the Bay of Biscay leads to Navarre, but we cannot invade Navarre because they have a ship there. So that effectively blockades us there. All right, we are going to need a citadel at some point, so maybe I should kind of start saving. But let's do Toulouse with an armorer because we know we're going to need that for the chivalric knights. And it'll just be useful. Alright, Spanish the strongest. Yeah, they can get very strong in this game. I forget that. Alright, Turks are gone. Oh, the Egyptians pounced on them. Wow. Or they attacked the Byzantines. I kind of missed what happened there, but... Alright, that's very interesting. Good. Okay, Prince John, and let's check him out. The Compass Rose. So this is just a historical event. It makes it sound as though you get newer ships, but I don't think it does immediately. Okay, starting to get some not so awesome traits. And we did it! The Krak de Chevaliers! Alright. There it is. Very nice looking representation of that. Really cool. Up on the hill. I guess we've got tents for the workers down here. Awesome. Alright, so we've now kind of rocketed ahead. And then the next big one is Notre Dame. Now, I don't know what happens if we lose the Krak de Chevaliers. At this point, it seems like we would just get it. But if we don't own Tripoli, you know, like, we might not really benefit. So, let's see. The Byzantines are not at war with the Egyptians, so the Egyptians just pounced on the Turks. That's cold-blooded, Sultan. Cold-blooded. So I guess we do have to worry about this now. But they may go to war with the Byzantines too. Alright, let's go for the church in Palestine. That's an easy, cheap purchase. And in Antioch we can go for... I'd like to go for a trading post, but I don't have a lot of money. Let's just go for regular old archers. let's actually save our money. We can train him in Palestine. You know, at a later point in the campaign, I would do it. But we don't have a lot of money to throw around. Okay, so the Byzantines invaded Venice, or took Venice, but it must have been a naval invasion or something because they just attacked Croatia. Maybe there's a civil war. Interesting. Okay, so at rank 0 emissary, I guess it's this guy, managed to escape from an assassin. Okay, so now they're at war with the Byzantines. Ooh. I mean, in a way, the Egyptians are more important of an ally to me than the Byzantines are. Because they could really hurt me. But it feels wrong to ally with the Egyptians against the Byzantines. But then the Byzantines, you know, the Egyptians didn't blockade any crusades. Right. I mean, they couldn't. They would have to attack them. But the Byzantines, we could sort of imagine that the Byzantines have, you know, as was sometimes the case during the actual crusades, have been a little haughty with us. And so we'll say, yeah, we'll go for an alliance. I feel a little weird about this, but let's do it. Let's do it. Okay. Approachable manner, highly educated. All right. We're no longer allied with the Byzantines. It feels weird, but I also, you know, maybe a little more secure around here. And that may change at a later point, too. It does free us up to hit Edessa, right? If we want to get a crusade going there. All right, loyalty is looking a little bit better, although not you. But we can take you and move you to, like, some other place. Let's go ahead, actually. Let's save ourselves a little bit of money. We've got some useless troops here. And they're also disloyal. Yep. Just the tiny numbers of troops that we can't retrain. You know, I don't mind keeping maybe 46 peasants here or there. But yeah, 4 Bulgarian brigands. I will keep these guys. They just seem cool. All right. So we do need something to do something about Jeancourt. But at this point, we should now be able to stack him pretty easily with another army somewhere. And we just need to get down to some loyal guy. Or just spread out all of these troops amongst others. Alright, that's fine. We'll keep that. Just for safe measure, let's put the mounted crossbowmen over there so no other cavalry unit will be vying with this guy for leadership of the stack. So with that done, I'm feeling fairly secure here. We've got 700 gold, and we've got another ship, so we can now move you this way and move you down here. So as long as the Aragonese live, you know, I don't feel super strong, but I feel like we're not about to be immediately attacked by the Spanish, at least, or the English. So that means we can afford to spend a little cash. Let's bring the king down. My gosh. We've got some just fantastic generals, governors here. Let's move you over, though. I'm a little torn about what I want to do with Flanders, but this might be a good agent province, where at some point we go for, you know, assassins or spies. It doesn't have any bonuses to units, and it's not, it's going to be an economic province. So we're going to build trade stuff there. Champagne, I guess, is good for farms. And, we've got a little bit of cavalry. Ile-de-France, we're going to go for a little bit of everything. But I don't feel like building anything there just now. Toulouse is building. And if I do anything in Brittany, it's probably just going to be a keep, which I really should do, but I also don't feel like investing in at the moment. So maybe the time then is arrived for Antioch to get into trade. We go for that, and then we do the same thing down in Tripoli. We just get them set up. Okay, the Byzantine Emperor is in Constantinople, and Prince Louis, another heir, is matured. Great, more marriages for more loyalties. Okay, his wife gave birth to a son, another one. Alright, Drinker. Alright, let's put her in, yeah, I want to see Croatia, actually. There's Prince Louis, Killer Instinct, Drinker. Alright, that's fine. We'll just bring him down here. $945, so that improved it by a couple hundred. And yeah, we can see the Spanish pretty strong. Now, this is still not good enough in terms of ports for me to want to get into the Baltic Sea, really. I'd like to have at least one, maybe two more. But let's go ahead and let's do a trading post in Tripoli, right? We can get trade there as well. This has also got some nice trade goods. I want to get that stuff online so we can start making money, in the next 30 or so years before the high period sets in. I want to have a kind of a healthy economy if I can. Okay. So our current king, let's just, I mean, I didn't really maybe go over this guy well enough. Killer Instinct, Weak Principles. He's 37. And, yeah, so he's got a lot of younger brothers who just have come of age. And this is going to be probably the heir apparent, Prince Charles. So I believe this would be his son. Yeah, it's got to be. So that's like another 14 years. So it'll be 50-ish, 51, something like that. So he should make it, in other words. And he's got a lot of younger brothers. All right, just checking all of this. I know we've got that Notre Dame, but we've got 70 or so years for that. And Aquitaine I'm not going to touch because I want, I kind of want the Aragonese to stick around for a little while until I'm feeling ready. Okay, we've got the ability now to train armored troops in Toulouse, and we've got the ability to do a little bit of trading. So at this point, let's do that. Let's go for a port and see if we can start getting ships in the Western Mediterranean so that we can do things like this. I mean, I think Valencia makes silk, and Cordoba also, I think, makes silk. So that's kind of a bummer, but, if we get our ships down around here, then all the stuff that we're producing in the north will come down around the Iberian Peninsula, give us a good view of the Spanish. But speaking of that, I should probably send someone down there. So, I mean, the Germans, it's interesting because they do own, they got Bohemia and Bavaria now. Let's see, did they ever, they took back Swabia. They got Friesland. They don't have Saxony. So, and the Hungarians. Okay, so there's war with Hungary. The Byzantines have attacked Hungary. Okay. And the Germans and the Egyptians. So Hungary is only at war with the Byzantines, but they're allied with the Pope. So the Byzantines are attacking the Pope's ally, right? That might be a call for a crusade. All right, I think we just queued up a port there. Let's wait. Next turn in Antioch, maybe a port. Oh, Aragonese going for it again. They got their capital back. I don't think they own it outright. Ooh. Prince Henri. You know, he's so far down the line that I don't think it matters, and I'd rather have a marriage offer later when, like, maybe I will have got an heir apparent who really needs a wife. So let's wait. Affable, yep. Okay, very good. And actually, okay, they didn't take it, and they'll probably lose it next turn. And in fact, this is the turn that they may be eliminated, because if the Spanish are smart, they do something like this: attack from Navarre into Aquitaine, and then slam Aragon from Castile and Valencia, right? And then you know, hope to just catch him between all of those. So we may not have a lot of time. So what do I have? I do have inns. I do have an inn in Champagne, but there's no troops there. But if there's a war on, maybe there would be some. Here I can train feudal sergeants. If we go for this, I'll be able to train feudal men-at-arms. I think that's a good buy. Okay, so that's 400, and let's go ahead and go for another 500 for a chapter house, because we may still get our we may yet get our crusade goal, right? If we can hit Edessa. All right, they finally got him. Emissaries assassinated. All right, the English are taking Friesland. Heretics and vile perverts. So this is Toulouse, Provence, Genoa, Milan, Franconia, and Bavaria. So kind of all over the place. Toulouse, Provence, Genoa, Milan, and then Franconia and Bavaria. So it's like mostly the southern strip and then a couple places in the north. So this is heresy, I guess, right? Oh, they really want me. Nope. Yeah, Henri, I mean, he's third in line or second in line, I guess, but these are all just the younger brothers of the current king. As soon as Charles comes of age, they're going to be out of it. All right, yeah, let's do the Antioch port. And yeah, the Hungarians are striking out at the Byzantines, who have moved into Tyrolia, but I'm not sure they'll be able to hold it if the Hungarians are this strong, you know, in Croatia. Although they did have to ransom their king back. The Italians still own Austria. It's very strange. All right, so that is the English moving into Franconia. Oh my gosh. All right, good. We're stopping the English a little bit. Some bandits in Scotland. I don't know why Catholic bandits would be striking in Scotland, but okay, Spanish are content. And look at all these troops. Okay, so that was a points year for glorious achievements, and we did not gain, you know, our homeland of Aquitaine, but it's really just changed now. So now we've got some very different ones. Normandy is now one of our homelands, which is right there. That'd be a good one to get. And Cyprus. And I've had my eye on that, as I said. So now Aquitaine, we don't even get anything for taking it. So, and this may change next time, right? So Normandy may not be in the running. We are pretty comfortably ahead at the moment. But yeah, Cyprus, I am tempted. Let's see, what is the Catholicism here? 86, 76. Let's send our bishop up to see Cyprus. I'm a little more curious about that. And then we'll kind of plot this out. A couple of more years, the chapter house will be done, and then we'll decide. Because we could go for a crusade there. We still, you know, we could go for Edessa first. That's a single point. Cyprus is also a single point. Normandy's 3. I'd like to get Edessa. The other thing that, like, I'm just noticing about this is if you look at the coloration of the ground, it does give you a clue to the type of terrain, right? I mean, obviously, like the, you know, the art on the map is not just for decoration. You see forests and mountains and things, but it just really hammers home, like when you think of the 4 Crusader states, right? Like the traditional ones. It's kind of this like rocky, hilly country. And then Syria is a province, is like just completely, you know, flat desert. Arabia as well. So it really just, it's kind of neat. It kind of goes together. I don't know. There's something about the aesthetic I really like about this map. Okay, we're 1,000. Okay, that's nice. Yeah, Normandy. There's nothing here, but they have invested a lot. Right, they've got sort of a little of everything, so it would be nice to have it. Well, let's go with a port in Tripoli. We'll need that to do some trading, and let's just continue saving cash. Wow. Okay, Aragon hitting Valencia. Good. We've got Chrétien de Troyes hanging out in Venice. Ah, it's so interesting. The English, I would have thought they could have taken that, but Toulouse port completed. Great. Lewis is a builder. Robert de Vest, Chinless Wonder. Okay. Guillaume, Drinker. Okay. But this means that the Aragonese did take Valencia, which is just fascinating. So now we want to go for a ship right here. So we have that option. Right, 1175. So we could spend like another 700. Okay, so I guess it's got to be Flanders. I'm thinking, you know, I want to do something. Yeah, so there are these buildings that require the compass, which we have met. So I could go, what is this making currently? 676. Like we could spend 1,000 to go for the merchant. That's going to up it pretty well. But we do have assassins about, so I think it might be the time here to start getting our own counter agents going. Okay, we've got that chapter house. Let's check out Cyprus. There's nothing here. So that means we could get a rebellion here. And they might lose it anyway. Oh gosh, if we had like a spy here. Well, we just start converting the populace. And this is very low taxes. So we could get this without a war, in theory. Oh man. Alright, let's build a crusade. And maybe we'll build a port as well. just for transport, because I want the option to just go there immediately. We will need some ships. So that's going to require, let's say, 4 more years. So I think that's going to work out. Let's see, how's Hungary looking? The king's not here, so they must be alive somewhere. It's just a fascinating campaign. So I'm afraid to touch it because it's like a work of art in its own. How the AI is, you know, painting the map for me here. It's just so interesting. So I think we've spent all that we want to spend for now. The Aragonese king is back at Aragon. And so I don't know if they still own Valencia. Alright, Antioch Port. Great. Most loyal. We've got a severe alcoholic up here, but he's actually looking quite good. His retainers now perform the majority of his duties. But next level of this, he's going to be, I think, dead drunk, which means that he loses a lot of those penalties because everyone is just doing everything for him. So yeah, if I had to bet, I would say the Aragonese do not have Valencia anymore. So I am worried about the Spanish. Okay, 83. I think, was it 83 last turn? I can't remember. Okay, we can't build ships, unfortunately, in Antioch. But we could build a keep there, so I think I will. And it looks like Hungary still owns Hungary. For now, because the Byzantines are coming in. Oh, wow. Alright, they took Hungary. Yep, the Spanish are moving in, and I think the Aragonese are now dead, essentially. Byzantines are the richest. Dead drunk, here we go. He is mostly bedridden, but occasionally his retainers strap him to a horse and lead him out. His retainers are fairly competent now at making decisions for him. Minus 20 health. So you notice there's no other bad penalties, right? All the penalties to command, his command is now back where it should be. His acumen is now back where it should be. Just keep him out of battle, because minus 20 health means essentially, I think, he is very, very susceptible to dying in a fight. So now we're seeing the consolidation of a few powers, I think. We're seeing the Spanish start to get the upper hand, because yes, here is the King of Aragon. And the unfortunate thing is the Aragonese are only going to emerge in a province where they have already been. So that means Aquitaine, Aragon, and Valencia, I think, are the only 3 they've owned. These are the 3 provinces where there would need to be sufficient disloyalty for there to be a rebellion, for there to be a chance for that rebellion to be an Aragonese reemergence. I don't see that happening. Then again, Aquitaine's kind of a war zone still. You know, loyalty's still low. There's not much infrastructure, so maybe if we get spies there, we can encourage it. But it is not really looking good. All right, Prince Charles is about 7 years away from maturity. And now we can go for a shipwright in Tripoli and start cranking out those ships. The Hungarians are not out of the fight, though. Looks like they're trying to take back their capital. Alright, Aragon is eliminated. And Hungary takes back Hungary for the moment. It looks like the Germans have Austria. Good. Took it back from the Italians. And I'd like to see the Byzantines slowly get pushed back, and maybe I can play a role there. Yeah, so this is dropping. Very low taxes. Now it's 78% loyalty. So, Crusade is going to be there in a little bit. 3 years, then another 3 years, and then we'll have 1 ship, right? So the other thing we might want to consider is getting an emissary there. Let's get Chrétien out of Venice and onto Cyprus. He can't go straight there because there's not a port at Venice for some ridiculous reason. But we will get a bishop here to keep an eye on things. All right, we've got 4,000 now. We can start putting some serious money. So, Flanders. Okay, for us to do anything else, we would need to get to the level of castle in terms of agents. So, let's just start training a couple assassins. That's 200. And we've got 1,000 we could spend before we even go into debt. So, these are not going to do anything now, but once the high era hits, we're going to be able to make chivalric units. Chivalric sergeants, chivalric men-at-arms, maybe at the next level of sword buildings. So these are all very good. Crossbows here. We'll have this infrastructure in place, or easily reachable at any rate. But yeah, I think we'll build in Toulouse. Let's get a ship down there, and let's find... yeah. We'll go for the spearmakers. All right, the Byzantine Emperor is in Wallachia, which is not terribly surprising given what they've been up to in this part of the world. All right, great. Port in Palestine. 72% loyalty in Cyprus. All right, we should be, our guy should be moving there. Yes, so he's in the Papal States. Good to see that this is still in the hands of the Pope. The Pope is at war with the Germans, but I don't think they're able to really reach him at the moment. All right, let's move our assassins. They're the only thing we have right now to sort of counter-spy, so to speak. All right, this looks like a more healthy economy. Making like 1,000 plus a turn. So for Palestine, the crusade is ready to go. Do we want to do ships here? No, let's go with spear makers just to get some other stuff. Okay, wow, the papacy goes into Provence. They're going to take it, and there is indeed a rebellion in Cyprus. We'll see if this works out. It looks like the Byzantines could hold out against it. Orthodox bandits will launch an attack next year, and the Spanish king dies of illness. So the Holy Roman Emperor wants an alliance. We're not going to agree to that. Another attempt on Prince Henri. Women are throwing themselves at this guy. Let's take a look at this Orthodox rebellion. It is pretty lame. We've got peasants and we've got spearmen. They do outnumber this guy, Lord Macrembolitissa, Duke of Khazar. It's the weirdest thing. But I don't think they'll win out. Still got very low taxes though, so there is a chance. And I've got to remember that the Sicilians still exist. Right. Okay, so I'm liking just the lineup here. It's no cav, but it's like a decent. We've got Hobilars elsewhere. 4,000. I've got technically enough to build a citadel, but I'm a little shy of doing it right at the moment. So let's do Flanders. A castle for 2,000. I think that's a good purchase there. We're going to want to keep upgrading it. All right, it's very interesting. I mean, the Byzantines do have, you know, parts of Italy, but they have a hard time holding Croatia. They don't have Hungary, and the Egyptians keep going for rum. Guillaume, friendly. All right, fine. All right, they saw off that rebellion pretty handily, although he lost about 14 men. That's going to make it even harder to hold. Okay, so we can now train ships in Tripoli. Jeez, we could go... We might be good to sort of spread things out a little bit, but let's go for feudal men-at-arms in Palestine. This is the first, you know, place I can easily build them. In Tripoli, I'm going to go right for the citadel and the Barbican. We're gonna strengthen this citadel just in case we're attacked by the Egyptians or whoever. I know it only counts if you're actively under siege. Right. Thank God. He keeps living. Someone really wants him dead, though. Okay, the Hungarians lose Hungary again. King of Sicily wants an alliance. Okay, no, I want to keep my alliance with the Egyptians, at least for now. Louis is a great builder. And you can go to Brittany. So I want sort of an assassin in every province. To counter spy. 71, very low. I mean, if we were to crusade to Cyprus, you know, we would be pretty much blindsiding them. But maybe we want to go... The thing that I'm worried about now is, if we crusade to Edessa, we're almost certainly to be routed through Syria, which means we will be attacking our ally, the Egyptians. So I think I'm kind of mentally writing off Edessa as a crusade target, right? Unless we can, you know, get a crusade from up here, which seems rather excessive. And even then, you know, by that time, the Egyptians might own Rum or Anatolia or something, so it's no guarantee. But the Pope looks like they're going to hold on to Provence, and the Spanish have not attacked us yet, despite the fact that they're not at war with anybody. They're allied with the Egyptians, so I've got to keep that in mind. They're not going to be looking to expand in this direction. So they've got to find some other place. Now, they are also allied with the English, and they border me. They only border me for people they're not allied with. So this is, like, I've got to see the writing on the wall here. That's why we're kind of building up in Ile-de-France. All right, let's decide what we're going to do in Toulouse. I think that if we were to invest in a castle, we're not going to... Like, we're not going to maintain... We're not going to finish it, because they're going to attack us before then, I'm afraid. Let's build a bark. Let's queue up a swordsmith. And I think we'll end the episode here. I need to give this a bit of thought, because, you know, the Spanish... It's just rough, right? Like, there's no chance of an Aragonese reemergence, I don't think, unless there's a civil war or something with Spain. And it doesn't look like that. They've got some pretty loyal generals, from what I can tell. And they own a lot of land, and they're going to be very rich. And richer than I am. The only saving grace, in a way, is that if they do attack me, it's... You know, they don't have a lot of ships up here yet, so they'd take this, and that'd be the end of the war, right? Hopefully, at worst. obviously that's not a good thing, but so I need to build up troops, but I also want to build up stuff so that I can make more money, so I can have good troops. I don't just want to train like a bunch more archers and hobilars and stuff. So that's kind of what I'm trying to do here. But I need sort of a plan. So I need to go off and give this some thought as to how I'm going to handle this threat of Spain. This is the biggest threat I can see right now to me is the Spanish. The English are at war with the Germans are at war with the English and everybody else. I'm looking to start a war with the Byzantines, quite honestly, if I can't get this to to materialize. But I think it will. So, like, I think I want to build up in the north a little bit, and then, eventually maybe we'll be able to kind of take Toulouse, build it up, and connect it to our realm. But I'm worried about investing too much in these places that are very vulnerable. So let me know what you think about this. How would you approach this kind of situation? I've got the naval power now to at least reinforce Brittany, and from there I could launch an attack. I could train up here and then launch an attack on Aquitaine. I guess my only solace is that maybe if the Spanish attacked me, they might be excommunicated because they're bigger than I am. But I wouldn't necessarily hold out hope for that. Anyway, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care until then.